Do you remember this skirt from one of my latest refashions? Perhaps you do. Well, what I need to do today is do a little bit of mending. If you recall, I need to do a few tweaks. So I thought I would do this today for my Monday mending. And let's also talk about what is Monday mending and why mending is actually so important and why you can mend against fast fashion. Welcome back, my lovely ladies and gents. It is so nice to see all your smiling faces again. If we haven't actually met yet, my name's Evelyn Wood and I'm a dressmaker, a vintage style dressmaker, and I specialize in sort of refashioning and vintage style, and I do a lot of mending. I started something that I call Monday mending, hashtag Monday mending, because I just started accumulating an enormous pile, mount mend is what it's called, of items that needed mending, and I just never sort of found the time to get to it because there's always way more exciting things to do than boring mending jobs. We all know this. So I decided finally to set a day, and I said every Monday I would do at least just one item of mending from my pile to actually get it done. And all you ladies and gents have just joined in so much. You love doing this too because it gives you a reason to mend. You all get in. You love seeing everybody else's mend using the hashtag Monday Mending, mostly on Instagram, and cheering everybody on because we do not do fast fashion around here. And one of the things about mending is it's kind of old-fashioned, right? I feel like mending has been lost along with the rise of fast fashion. Sewing and mending skills decline, whereas fast fashion rises. Because there is, less skill involved, but also when items become cheaper to buy than they are, cheaper to buy a new one than it is to mend it, people throw them away or donate them sometimes. I know people who have donated items because the hems come down or the buttons come off and they didn't know how to fix it, and they donated it to op shops. So that happens all of the time, and a lot of people even would throw them away, unfortunately. We know how much clothing end up in landfill every single year. It is astronomical and it really does have to stop. So one of the things that I find really interesting about mending is that when I look through all of my old vintage dressmaking and sewing books, these all, like say 50s, 1950s and earlier, they all include sections on altering, mending and refashioning clothing. They have big, whole chapters on these types of subjects, yet any modern sewing book that you pick up has no mention of mending or refashioning or anything like that. It's just not even in our sphere of what we do anymore. I think it's high time that we bring back mending because I feel like it's one of the easiest, simplest and most impactful ways that you and I can actually have on fast fashion, and that is by making our clothes last longer. We all know that love clothes last. That is something that is coined by the Fashion Revolution team, which you should definitely look up if you don't know what that is already. And by making the time to do the simple mending jobs, and sometimes, as I said, there's more exciting things to do than mending sometimes, and it can be difficult because no two are the same. I mean, this fabric's different from that garment, that hole's different from that, and it's all difficult. I'm quite on this topic at the moment because just over the weekend I actually hosted a Make Do and Mend It masterclass, and it was just extraordinary. It was so wonderful to get together with all those women, and we all talked about fashion and fast fashion and mending, and we all mended our clothes together and all learnt new skills, and I think they all went home with really practical, good skills that they can use in their everyday life to mend and prolong the life of their clothing. And I know that by them doing that practice will also influence other people in their world, and that makes me really happy because I think the more that we talk about this kind of thing, the more people see it and know that it is perhaps something that we could and should be doing with our clothing. So I would absolutely always love to know. Let me know below in the comments, do you mend, or did you used to mend and not anymore? Or do you want to start mending? Let me know your little story of mending. But anyway, I did promise you to show you what I'm doing here because you might remember this skirt from the recent refashion video that I did. I'll link that down below, so do check the description box to go watch that video after this one. I had this problem, right? this little flappy bit on my waistband of my skirt is not quite right. So today is Monday and I'm doing my Monday mending, and this is what I'm doing for this Monday mending. Wait a minute, let me show you a little bit closer what's happening here. So what I've actually found is happening is it's actually popping up because the waistband and the button has essentially been put kind of in the wrong place. You can see when I pull this tight, the shape is not quite right. So I've actually put a little dot here because I want to enclose this further actually to make it a wee bit tighter. And if I actually do that, then that actually kind of fixes this problem. It then actually forms at the right angle and stops that from flapping out. Now I'm going to move this button over to here, and I am also still going to add some snaps to this through here and here to give it some extra structure and to just make sure that it stays down underneath. So all hand sewing jobs for me this Monday. One of the perks of also mending your clothes that have been sitting in a pile forever is that it's kind of like getting new clothes to wear when they are now in wearable condition again, and you actually get to wear them. It's like having brand new clothes to wear again. Just a side effect of mending your clothes. Okay, let me show you the difference here. You can see now that I've changed where that button is, the angle of the waistband is actually now correct. And when it's pulled, like when pressure is pulled on it as if you were wearing it, it now sits straight and that flap no longer juts out at a weird angle. And of course the press studs are there to just sort of help hold it in place where it should be, and a little bit of extra strength so the button doesn't have as much strain either. And now just fits that a little bit more snug and just that a little bit more perfect. And now I have finally, I can actually wear this now because of Monday mending. I hope that you will consider going to your mending pile as enormous, or maybe it's just the wardrobe and there's pieces in there that you know are earmarked that need mending. And perhaps join us for Monday mending. Every Monday, just go to your wardrobe, your mending pile, wherever it may be, and just pick out at least one item and just get it done. Now, use the hashtag on mostly Instagram, it really only works on Monday mending on your own posts so we can all see them, because it is so much fun to see everybody else's mending. So if you really want extra brownie points, comment below and tell me, what are you going to mend this Monday? Let me know below to keep yourself accountable. When you sort of write it down, you know, you hold yourself to it. That's why I wouldn't have even gotten this done if it wasn't Monday and I'm not accountable to you guys to every Monday do my mending. This would have got left behind. So that is one other reason I love Monday mending too. It is my hope that all together we can bring back these old-fashioned ideas of dressmaking and bring mending back into our everyday and what we do as normal, so that we can throw away less clothing and actually have an impact. It's one of the things that I always look for, is what can I personally do to have an impact on my, you know, my environmental footprint, so to say, as a whole. And this is one thing that I know that I can do. So that's why I do what I do. Leave your comments below. I love to hear them about what you think of mending and what you're going to mend. Now, two things: if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button below, because I do lots of videos on vintage, fashion, sewing, dressmaking, vintage sewing, all of these things. So you want to know when my next video comes out. And if you know someone who was interested in this, would like to know more about mending or give them a push or why you mend, I would be so grateful if you shared this video to spread the message and have more people mending and thinking about more ways we can be sustainable in our fashion as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye. For those of you following along every week, know I have not forgotten about this refashion that I'm coming back to and revisiting. Don't worry, I just need to get some other things to make it work properly, so I have to go up shopping. It's thrift store shopping in Australian.